Did you know that Scots are still affected by the Indian caste system? My name is Sanjeev and I spoke to Kapil today, who's a Scottish South Asian musician that released a concept album about the Indian caste system. The musician has been highlighting the issue and why it's still a problem.
The caste system is an ancient form of social hierarchy that was originally prevalent within Hinduism, but now you can find the caste system wherever South Asians have settled, especially here in Scotland, in the UK where I'm based. It would tend to be like each caste or tier in this social hierarchy would perform different roles going back hundreds of years, but the social mobility or their lack of between the castes remains. And you find that caste towards the top of the pyramid, there might be landowners, or priests, and they would traditionally hold a lot of social power. And you find that folk who belong to a lower caste background tended to be manual laborers or like street cleaners, etc. And those descended from street cleaners seem to have the same lack of social mobility even into the present day. So how does casteism relate to living in Scotland, and how could it even be relevant considering how far away from India and South Asia we are in general? Well, they really police along caste lines who they, and most importantly, their children are able to marry or even be friends with in these immigrant communities abroad. And the most common usage of casteism that I've seen is definitely we as South Asians not being able to marry out with caste lines by and large.
Many Scots are still being forced to abide by these traditional systems. Kapil explains why this is the case.
These kind of communities oppress people who they feel they're superior to. I've seen with my own eyes, even in my workplace here in Glasgow. I witnessed a woman quit her job in my place of work about 10 years ago over the fact that she was facing casteist abuse and slurs on a daily basis. And that's what really opened my eyes to the fact that this abuse still happens, and it's every bit on par with sectarianism in this country for, religious kind of abuse and religious kind of conflict that we're not talking about enough.
But how can we help minimise and prevent this from making an impact on Scots today?
The most important thing to do, and the most important thing that we need to be doing, is having conversations about how caste pride and casteism is baked into a lot of pop culture that a lot of the Indians, there's a large population of us too here in Scotland, are consuming. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about a Bollywood film that like millions of people are going out to watch, or a really high charting Bhangra tune. There's often a lot of really casteist rhetoric baked into these songs. And a lot of this revolves around the idea that I'm of this upper caste background, I'm better than everyone else who's not. I'm just being proud of who I am, but to that I say, if you see the phrase white pride, as an Indian it makes you uncomfortable and I don't need to explain why. How is caste pride any different from that? And walking around in a space in the UK where you're already a racial minority, is it not already too much without, whenever you're in the South Asian space, being hit over the head with the fact that you're not upper caste and that, people with this caste privilege are constantly reminding you of it as if it makes them better than you when it obviously doesn't. So the least we could be doing is talking about that. And yeah, it's a really deeply rooted problem, but I'm hopeful that we're taking strides because there's so many Indians, not just in the UK, but in Scotland, and the least we could be doing is having these difficult conversations. They're long overdue.
I think it's clear the caste system is still causing problems for many, including South Asian Scots. To make change, we need to continue to highlight where it's causing issues and be transparent for it to improve. And thanks to people like Kapil, our society will continue to become more accepting of others.